Hello, my name is Michael Langdon, and this is Designing with Inkscape, and this is an introduction to Inkscape. And what I'm going to do here is give you a quick brief overview of some of the things that Inkscape can do for beginners, people who are just starting with Inkscape. I also have another how-to on YouTube on how to download and install Inkscape. But basically this is Inkscape, and you'll see I'm going to pan around the program, and in the middle of the program you'll see is your document. And the first thing I always like to do with my document is to make some document changes. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to come up to File and come down to Document Properties, and you can see that here you have a couple of properties, and the first thing I'm going to change is the default units to inches. I'm going to change it to letter. I'm going to change it to landscape. I'm also going to change this down here to inches as well. And it looks like that's all I need in here. You can see that you can make quite a few changes in here. I'm going to come up to grids, and if you want to, you can show grids, and I'll show you what that looks like. There are your grids. And you can make changes. You can see what happens here as I do this. You can have show guides. Guides are lines that you pull down from the ruler that don't show up when you print, and they're just there to help you out. There's also snap, and what snap allows you to do is to snap objects to the grid, as here. You snap objects to other objects, so if you're trying to connect the lines, it's very helpful. And then you can have it snap to guides. And I do like it to always snap to guides. That way, if you don't like snapping, you don't have to have it if you don't have guides out. And so I'm going to close this, and I still want this to be a little bigger than this, so I'm going to come up to here, this zoom to fit page and window, and you can see now my whole page fits in here. One of the things I always like to tell my students to do is the first thing you want to do is you want to come up here and see what's under each menu item. And so what we have here is File, Edit, View, Layer, Object, Path, Text, Effects, and Help. Okay. And underneath it we have a series of icons, and if you just hold your mouse over them, it tells you what they do. Some of the most important ones are Undo. Anytime you're drawing, undo is very important. So on. There's Rotate, Flip, raise, lower, etc., etc. And then along the side we have the select tool, the node tool, zoom, rectangles, squares, ellipses, circles, arcs, stars, polygons, spirals, freehand lines, Bezier curves and straight lines, calligraphic lines, text, connectors, create and edit gradients, and the pick average color from the image. Along the bottom you have your colors, and there's more than one way you can get colors. You can see there's a whole lot of colors to choose from. Down here you also have your layers, and in Inkscape you can't do more than one page, so oftentimes they'll have you paginate by using layers, which is okay. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you how to make a heart, basically, by first drawing a circle. So I'm going to take a circle, and I'm going to, while I'm holding down the Control key, I'm going to click and drag my circle out so that it looks like a circle. Okay, there's my circle. And now what I'm going to do is come over to here, and I'm going to make my circle actually red. Okay. Now I'm going to click my node tool, and I'm going to convert my object to a path. And so what this will do is, normally what happens here is you can see if I click that, it goes around like that. So what I want to do is I want to convert this object to a path so that I have some actual nodes here. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this one, and as you can see I can pull it down. And so what else I'm going to do is I'm going to also take these handles on the side here, and I'm going to push them in, and you can see what these handles do here. And so this is the point at the bottom of my heart. And so then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to grab this node and I'm going to pull it down. Okay. And then I'm going to grab this handle here. And you can see though what happens here is when I pull this handle around, it does either side symmetrically, I think it is. So what I want to do is I want to make this into what's called a corner. And so I click on the node, then I click up here to make selected nodes corner. Okay, and what this will do is it allows me to turn these, move these independently of one another. Okay, and so you can see I can shift this around, and there we have a heart. And you click off it, and there's our heart. Now if you want to make this heart into a drop shadow heart, that's quite simple. We simply select it. We duplicate it by hitting Control D, and then you can see we have two of them. So we're going to take the bottom one and we're going to make it a dark color. And so you can see there's our dark flower, or a dark heart, I'm sorry, not a flower. And if we needed to put this behind it, we could just by coming up here and clicking lower to bottom. But what we need to do now is we need to blur that. And so we come up to Object, Fill and Stroke, and here's Fill and Stroke, and we blur it. And probably want to blur it like to 5 looks good. And so there's our blurred. And then we just move this over. And there's our heart with a drop shadow. And that's just a brief introduction to one of the things, and many of the things, that Inkscape can do. In the coming weeks I'll be posting more of these videos for beginners on how to draw and design in Inkscape. Thanks.